Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is present, everyone. Welcome back to a little more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be trapped in a cult. And speaking of being trapped in a cult, we need to talk a little bit more about Shelly Miscavige. I want to give you guys the updated report that Yashar Ali has put out regarding the search for Shelly Miscavige, specifically how the LAPD handled its search for Shelly Miscavige when Leah Remini filed her missing persons report back in 2013. Guys, for the best, most up-to-date reporting on anything to do with Shelly Miscavige, you guys have to check out Yashar Ali's Substack. I have put a link to it in the description down below. First, let me show you what he put on Twitter, and then we're going to jump over to the update on Substack. So I believe this was just yesterday. Yashar said, on Monday, I reported that the LAPD had met with a woman identifying herself as Shelly Miscavige and a Scientology attorney. During that meeting, just days after Leah Remini had filed her missing persons report, they took the woman's fingerprints. However, the LAPD lab determined the prints were inconclusive for a match and not suitable for a match. Instead of obtaining a second set of prints, the LAPD closed the missing persons investigation. Now I have updated my story with full images of the internal LAPD documents I obtained, screenshot of the security camera footage I obtained, and a new photo of Shelly. Read my story and the documents here. We're going to click through on that link in just a second, but I wanted to show you a few more of the tweets here. Check this out. The actual report that the LAPD generated after examining the fingerprints of the woman identifying herself as Shelly Miscavige. We're going to look at it in the actual report in a moment. This is the never before seen photo of Shelly Miscavige as provided by Claire Headley. This is the photo I used in the thumbnail. Yashar says, in my story, I mentioned that after LAPD officials met with a woman identifying herself as Shelly Miscavige, they contacted the coffee shop where the meeting had taken place to get the security camera footage. The footage from multiple cameras was all scrambled. Holy cow. An actual screenshot of the scrambled security camera footage of the meeting with Shelly Miscavige. Gee, I wonder who scrambled that footage and how. I mean, I know it's possible, but wouldn't it have been easier just to lose the footage? So weird. Okay, he says, I've also added this document to the story. This is a note from Leah Remini to her Scientology handler, Shane Woodruff, sent when Leah was still a Scientologist. Leah recounts in this letter her efforts to find out more about where Shelly was. I'm not going to read this entire note here. It's not very long. It's just not very relevant to this video right here, but it is fascinating. You can see this on Twitter, and let's jump over to Yashar's update. Let's take a look at some of these documents. He has updated a report that he previously put out. So this isn't an entirely new report, but I just want to click through on some things here. This is not going to be a long video, you guys. Check this out. I am endlessly fascinated by this document right here. We have, in some videos I've done recently with Jeffrey Augustine, we were only speculating. Jeff was only speculating that the LAPD, instead of taking one of their electronic fingerprinting machines, which were in wide use back in 2013, instead of using one of their electronic machines that have its own cellular connection or Wi-Fi, whatever, where you can verify instantly right on the spot that you have a good print and whether your print matched. He was speculating that it sounded like the LAPD had actually gone out there with an ink pad and an old school fingerprinting sheet and taken ink fingerprints. As crazy as it would seem, what are you this woman in a coffee shop? Like, what the hell are you doing? And Jeffrey Augustine was 100% correct. This is just shocking to me that they went out there and took ink fingerprints. And look at the information on here. So Michelle Diane Miscavige, birthday 5'5", 118 pounds. That's interesting, right? Because that's a pretty healthy weight. Would you guys agree? Let me know in the comments section. 118 pounds. Would that be considered a healthy weight for a woman who's 5'5"? It strikes me that it would be. I want to know if you guys agree. Not malnourished, you could say. Now, maybe some of you experts can let me know Why are they only taking one print? So the print on the top, the print here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. The print here that's next to her driver's license photo. My understanding is that that is the print that was on file with the DMV from when Shelly submitted her application for her very first driver's license back before 1986. My information is that 1986 is when California stopped requiring thumbprints for new driver's license applications, not renewals, but initial driver's license applications. And so I think that's why they have this print here. Now, maybe because that's the only print they had on file for Shelly. Maybe that's why they only took one print back in 2013. It sounds reasonable, right? But also, what is this print on the bottom? I'm so confused. If on the top row you have 5 fingers for the right hand up there, and then on the second row you've got 5 fingers for the left hand, what is this box on the bottom? I'm going to need some of you experts, some of you ex-police folks, to let me know what's going on there. Also, isn't it startling to see what Shelly looked like in her 2010 driver's license photo compared to the earlier photos that we have of her? She looks like a shell of her former self. Anyway, incredible to see this actual record. There was something else in this report I wanted to share with you guys. I mean, it's so incredible to me that Yashar got his hands on this stuff. This is the actual report the LAPD generated after analyzing the fingerprints of the woman claiming to be Shelly Miscavige. A member of the Los Angeles Police Department, I conducted an analysis, comparison, and evaluation of the friction ridge skin impressions below, and the determination of source attribution is inconclusive. The impressions cannot be identified or excluded as originating from the same source due to lack of quality or quantity of features in the impression appearing in document number 1. Due to the presence of level 1 detail, the impression appearing on document 1 may be of value for exclusion purposes in another comparison with a different subject. And look, it says this fingerprint was taken August 8th, 2013. Fascinating. And what is this second document? I've already looked at this before and I couldn't quite tell how this document was different from or related to the first document, but maybe you experts in the chat might know. Fingerprint examination report. A member of the Los Angeles Police Department, I conducted an analysis of the friction ridge skin impression appearing on the document below and have determined the impression to be not suitable for search in the automated fingerprint identification systems. Very interesting. And then let's see, these are actually some internal communications between, is this between the LAPD and the law enforcement out in the jurisdiction where Shelly's, the base where she works at is? I don't know. This has a lot of, I don't know what this says. Meaning I know what Yashar has explained it as. I just, looking at this, I don't know enough to be able to interpret what's on this page is what I'm saying. Let's see. There you go. There's the screenshot of the scrambled footage. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable to me. Will some of you video experts in the chat, either in the live chat or in the comments on the replay, please let me know what your takeaway is from seeing this. So the LAPD, they meet with Shelly in a coffee shop in Covina or West Covina. A week later, they ask the coffee shop to send them the surveillance footage. It takes a week for the coffee shop owner to send the footage, and this was the result from multiple cameras. Absolutely incredible. Some have pointed out to me, and this would be very, very interesting for someone to follow up on, that in order to really know what to make of this scrambled footage, you cannot just have the video clip of the time in question, of the time of the meeting. You have to see the security footage for, hour or hours beforehand and hour or hours afterhand to see, did someone very specifically scramble this section of the footage, or was there some anomaly with the recording system itself? You know what I mean? In order to really know whether someone did something, you have to have that extra information. And we don't have that extra information, but I feel like somebody could get that information. I feel like if anybody could, it would be Yashar. That's why you guys got to go subscribe to Yashar's Substack, because Yashar is a dog with a bone on this Shelly Miscavige stuff. And I guarantee you he's not giving up on this. Let's see. Was there any other new nuggets in this report? We've seen that photo. I have not seen this before. A continuation sheet. Okay, this is like the actual report that Leah Remini submitted back in 2013. It's either it's not her report. It's the report the LAPD made as a result of Leah Remini's report. Really interesting stuff. Never before seen stuff. Guys, here's what's crazy about Yashar getting this information. This information is what Leah Remini spent over $50,000 in legal fees trying to get. And the LAPD stonewalled her at every turn. You want to wonder why people are so confident that the LAPD is in the pocket of Scientology? There's a lot of reasons, but this is one of them. The LAPD could have just followed their normal policies and procedures and not shown Scientology favorable treatment, not given David Miscavige favorable treatment, not given Shelly Miscavige favorable treatment, not gone out of their way to be massive dicks to Leah Remini. They could have just followed their own policies and procedures, but they didn't, and they never do when it comes to Scientology. You would think the LAPD would be extra careful when it comes to Scientology. In fact, they've shown time and time again they're extra careless. And I don't believe the LAPD is that careless. I believe they are that corrupt. So let's take one more look at this document, make sure there's nothing else I wanted to share with you guys. Again, not trying to make this video a long video. Okay, that's the new photo of Shelly. And guys, compare that photo with that photo. My God. Look, I've seen some bad DMV photos, but that right there is what you call a prisoner of war. That right there is what a POW looks like. Guys, go subscribe to Yashar Ali's Substack. Don't miss the latest breaking news on Shelly Miscavige. Of course, I'll do videos for you guys, but you could also subscribe to Yashar's thing. Let me just respond to a couple of comments here. His Autistic Night. Did you see the Team Mike art piece I emailed you a few weeks ago to show my support for Mike? That vaguely rings a bell, but it doesn't clearly ring a bell. Can you send it to me again? I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate that. Gigi says, are we sure it's not a California ID? Why is the photo so close? In mine, you can always see my neck. Why is here cropped? Do they take prints for California ID? I believe we are very sure it's a California ID. In fact, it's where Yashar got the photo from, was the California driver's license system. Like, that is her driver's license photo. Yashar Ali has said that is her driver's license photo. So I trust Yashar on that. They do not take prints, the information I have. They no longer take prints for California driver's licenses. They did, prior to 1986, require a thumbprint for first-time new applications for a driver's license. Thank you, GG. Jaded Neko asked my LA law enforcement officer husband. He said the big box is typically for the four fingers all together at once. Oh, he also said it is 100% abnormal to use ink at that time, as they phased it out when digital happened. Indeed. Jeff Augustine keeps saying that these detectives very obviously through the game, through the case, through the investigation, that he believes they took ink up there to intentionally do it wrong so that they wouldn't get a match, so that Leah Remini wouldn't be able to get the satisfaction of having forced Miscavige to prove that Shelly Miscavige was in fact alive and okay. That's my theory. That is my theory. Okay. Abigail S says, I went on the website and BMI index indicates she's normal in weight for her height. Good. That's good to know. Gigi, why write down her height and weight and not an address? Her address should be up to date if the license is still valid. And now that you mentioned that, how do they know what she weighs? Did they bring a freaking scale into the coffee shop? What? Or are they just writing it down based on her driver's license? Is that possible? Okay, you people out there with law enforcement backgrounds, does it? Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up again. Let's look at this thing one more time. Let's look at this. If this is a fingerprint sheet, here's what I want to know from you experts. Would a police officer fill in these stats? Would they be allowed to fill in these stats just based on what was already on her driver's license, even though that information would have been 3 years old at this time? Because the driver's license, she did a renewal. She did a renewal in 2010 that required her to take a new photo. So we know if she met with detectives in 2013, her driver's license information would have been 3 years old. I grew up in a cult yesterday, but I was born in a cult, but not last week, you guys. Would they have been allowed to use the information from a driver's license photo, or would they have been required to take new information? And if that's all true, do we still believe the LAPD met with her in a coffee shop and fingerprinted her and weighed her? No way. No way. I don't know, you guys. I don't like being conspiracy theory minded, but this is seeming really, really suspicious here. Okay, let's see. There's another one here. Russ Hampton. It's all coming down on Captain Keebler. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much, Russ. I really, really appreciate it. What is this? GG. Where is the holographic stamp if it's her license? Mine all have that. There is a holographic stamp, but does the holographic stamp, is it right over the person's face? Is it right over their photo, or is it more like in the center? You'll notice Yashar hasn't published her driver's license. He's just using the photo that was on file with the DMV. So I still do believe this is the DMV, legitimate driver's license photo. Okay, Andy Fabulous. I don't think the B7W pick is a CDL pick. Is CDL California driver's license? All CDL picks are digital, so as to be available on police computers. Well, Andy, enough people are calling this into question that I don't want to pretend like I know anything I don't know. I am purely taking Yashar at his word that this is a California DMV photo. I believe I have inferred that his source was the DMV directly, but I'm just inferring that. He's never said that. I honestly believe Yashar would not have said this was her DMV photo if he didn't know for 100% fact that it was his DMV photo. But I mean, I hear what you guys are saying. I hear what you're saying. Lori Plays. I would love to translate all of this in relation to my law enforcement officer experience. However, none of this has been done like anything I've ever been involved with. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. The LAPD just never follows its own policies and procedures when dealing with Scientology. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could they really just be that incompetent? I don't believe it. Corruption is the answer, if you ask me, everyone. All right, everybody. Hey, at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a Monday Night Live, SPTV, all new panel members, all second-gen members. We're going to have a great time tonight. So stay tuned for that. Uh-oh. Let me get one more in here. Michelle Carpenter, my driver's license said I weighed 155 pounds for a decade. After I breached 200, they don't care. I'm positive they just took it from her driver's license or asked for her weight. Yes, I guess we'll never know. We will never know. Thank you, everyone, for watching. That's all I got on this for now. Thank you to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click